The fog comes over and then dissipates. Really beautiful.
The rolling green hills of West Marin. From an agricultural perspective, mostly cow country.
Mainly oysters, dairy, and a few little organic farms.
In Point Reyes, the famous fog makes it tough to raise much else.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
Only it appears no one told Steve Dowdy.
Number 2 vineyard is over here to the left.
On his scenic hilltop, Dowdy is pushing nature's limits by growing wine grapes.
Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. We started it basically as a hobby wine.
Dowdy produces sparkling wine he sells in his tasting room.
We just sell locally.
This area isn't normally considered grape country because it's thought to be too cold. That works for Dowdy, who by design makes sparkling wines from grapes that don't get quite ripe.
The méthode champenoise is the French method. Sometimes you wouldn't see the sun for a month and a half. But now it's all changed.
These days, Dowdy sees much less fog than he used to.
I don't know if it's global warming.
And he has a bold prediction. With climate change, he thinks in the coming decades, Point Reyes will warm up enough to become prime grape-growing terrain.
I figured that in the future, I can probably get them all ripe and make some really dynamite Pinot Noir.
Dowdy isn't the only Bay Area grape grower predicting change. In the storied Napa Valley, winemaker Dan Petrosky also has eyes on the future.
Eventually he comes up in here.
At the 125-year-old Larkmead Winery, he's turned 20 acres of brand new vineyards into a testing plot. With predictions that climate change could eventually render the Napa Valley too hot and dry for its coveted Cabernet grapes, Petrosky is looking ahead.
I'm standing right now in a research development block that we are looking at grape varieties that would potentially replace Cabernet in the not too far distant future.
Over the next 20 years, Petrosky plans to test vines from international winemaking regions with more hot, drought-like conditions.
I don't want to be behind the 8 ball when the time comes. I want to be ahead of the curve.
Been a learning process, believe me.
For Dowdy, it's a process someone else will have to carry on. He's planning to sell his vineyard.
When you get to be 80, it's time to retire.
Though he'll step away with the seeds of the future already sowed. Joe Rosato Jr.
It is paradise, believe me.
NBC Bay Area News.